I don't know. Maybe there's some fuzziness on it.
I don't know.
Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Sorry about that awkward intro. Hey.
It's your president and your VP back once again.
Yep, there was.
Oh, okay. Back once again with another episode of Lifetime Movies, a dude's perspective. Now, guys, I know we promised that it was going to be No One Would Tell remake, but I gotta wait till I get paid tomorrow and we'll get our Lifetime Movie Club subscription. And we'll get that out to you guys next week. So, having addressed that little issue, we chose a different movie for this one, and it's called She Fought Alone.
Yep.
It premiered November 6th, 1995 on the NBC network.
Yep.
So it was, again, part of that time period where they had a movie of the week, Sunday night movie type things
Also,
to
guys,
boost ratings.
I don't know how this keeps happening, but every time we review one of these movies, it keeps going back to the touchy subject of sexual assault. So there's a disclaimer there.
Yeah, disclaimer, parents, this movie features some violent content, and it's
A kind of disturbing scene of rape.
It's probably best that you don't let your children watch this, so fair warning ahead of time. Also, we've said this in the past, and we'll say it again, if you have been a victim of sexual assault, please seek help and go to the proper authorities.
Yeah.
So, having gotten that out of the way, this movie stars Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and she plays Caitlin, a 17-year-old junior at Lockhart, Illinois High School.
Which is fictional. Yeah, gotta put that out on the way. It's completely fictional.
Now, because of the time period, it's quite possible that this movie is inspired by cases like the Texas 7 and some other things that were happening around that time period. So this can give you a little bit of an indication as to what this movie is about.
Real quick, don't go looking into that case. You'll probably legit be disturbed on what actually happened.
Yeah, so as I said, she plays Caitlin, and she likes this boy, Ethan, who's played by Brian Austin Green, and both of them...
They're both from 90210.
Yeah. Hey! It's okay. He needs to be more interactive a little bit in these videos.
Yeah, I'm kind of silent.
And stop chewing on that.
Me.
We're in the middle of our video, bub. Put it down.
You put it down.
So, like I said, she likes this boy, and she has feelings for him, and she becomes the homecoming queen. And they kind of do like a Carrie scene, but it's just raspberry jam. But at first it kind of got me, because I was like, wait, they're going the Carrie route here? And so that's a little bit of an interesting concept.
It's actually kind of like a ritual for homecoming.
Yeah.
Apparently they're at the high school.
And they win the big football game, and so they go out to celebrate, and she admits that she has feelings for him. And they have intimate relations.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, so that happens, but as that's happening, it turns out that Ethan's creepy, psychopathic
dirtbag friend named Jace, which is short for Jason,
is watching him. He's peeping on him, guys, to put it bluntly. And so one thing leads to another, though, and Jace goes to see Caitlin, and something horrible happens.
Mind you, this is a little bit after the homecoming football game and all this happened, and Jace, let's face it, he basically gets these urges, goes over to her house. He then, at first it was just it was supposed to be a quick little kiss, and then he basically then
forced himself on her.
Yeah, But beforehand, what makes this guy even more of a dirtbag and even more of a psychopath is her little sister hears the entire thing. Mind you, she's 13 years old. And then this dirtbag then says, tell her you're okay or I'm going to do her too. I'm like, this evil.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next morning, she's acting kind of strange, as she would probably do. Takes a really long shower, and her mother confronts her about what's going on, and she admits that she was sexually assaulted. And at first, her mother doesn't believe her. Now, pretty much everybody in this town is a complete scumbag.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Even Ethan for a little bit, as we're going to get into here in a little bit.
But anyways, this her mother at first doesn't even believe her, thinks that she brought over her boy, and things got a little too wild, and they had sex when really she was raped, and it was just...
Yeah, it really paints the mom in a bad light, but she does believe her eventually.
And then afterwards, this dirtbag, and then afterwards, she then slaps her daughter, and I just don't like it.
Yeah. So they go to the hospital to prove that there was evidence of it, which you should do. But as it turns out, because she had a bit of a sexual past before, it would be very hard to prove the allegations as to what happened, which is that's sad. But you have to remember the time period. I mean, we have made some advancements, but this is 1995, so it was even harder back then than it is now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it ain't hard now, because it is, but back then it was even harder. So Jace finds out that these things are happening, and he convinces Ethan that they need to teach her a lesson, and so they write graphic image all over the front of the school, and the school just basically lets it stay up there, doesn't attempt to take it down.
They put a tarp over it. Yeah, that's going to do bull crap to it. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Usually
and
we
in
have
the girls'
fun.
restroom,
Usually we're cracking jokes about this, but this makes me mad. This entire movie made me mad because it was like, first, mother doesn't believe her, and then the school does absolutely nothing, and then later on they wound up suing the school for letting the sexual harassment of her to happen.
And this guy, Jace, and his friends, Ethan, they want to teach her a lesson. So there's a scene a little bit later where Ethan and his friends, they're these complete psychopathic, roided up football players. Because, yeah, like I said, it was kind of sort of based off of that incident. They hold her down and they cut her hair and they're kind of beating her up a little bit.
And then something just clicks in Ethan's mind, where then he says she's had enough, and then they let her go.
Yeah, so he starts his redemption, which is a cool little plot in the movie that this happens. And I will have to say that Brian does a pretty good job in portraying this character.
Oh, yeah.
Because you also see where he's having to take care of his sick mom who can't hardly get out of the house and stuff.
Oh yeah, and don't forget that Jace then calls her house, her mom basically.
Yeah, and brags about it. About it happening in her mother's bed, guys. I mean, it's a little bit over the top as far as how evil he is.
This guy reminds me of Bryce Walker from 13 Reasons Why.
But it works. I will say that.
Yeah.
It works. Now, so all these things keep happening, and she's going to be leaving town, right? And Ethan has convinced her that he believes her and that he's willing to help. And so he sacrifices that, and then he gets his car vandalized by Jace, who's, pardon my language here, but he's too much of a pussy to fight Ethan firsthand, so like a little coward, he vandalizes Ethan's car. who, mind you, has been like working on it nonstop because we see a scene where he's in the barn working on this car.
Yeah, he's been. By the way, it's kind of revealed and clues hinted throughout the movie that he's been working on this for all of his high school career, which is 4 years because he's a senior in high school. And even then, he even starts realizing that he has feelings for Caitlin, and he really cares about her, and he wants to help her get revenge on Jace. But then Jace vandalizes his car, so he gets super mad, goes to Caitlin's house, says, "Hey, we're going to go ditch town." And then
they hide out in a church where they kiss and acknowledge that they have feelings for each other. And it's kind of a touching moment.
By the way, I couldn't help but to crack a joke at this moment where I was just like, oh my goodness, it's the Outsiders. Guys, we're living the Outsiders here.
Yeah, it did help break up the tension because it was the sort of movie that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Especially that scene where
so they get ambushed as they're leaving town, and it results in a knife fight. And they had gotten the Jace on tape threatening Caitlin, so this was sort of a slam dunk. And they were able to get the school to acknowledge they were going to change their policy, basically. But that's really all that happens. And so it's kind of a downer. I mean, yeah, that scumbag Jace, his football career is over, and Ethan, he admits his compliance in it, and so he suffers the consequences too. But Jace really should have been in prison. And so, I mean, I think more should have happened there. A lot more. As the movie ends sort of on a middle ground. Because Caitlin's off to junior college, so she probably puts the incident behind her. However, you know, you're just left with this feeling like justice wasn't completely served.
Yeah.
And so, for that...
I even ended the movie with one last joke because it said, come back soon. I'm like, I don't think she's going to be coming back soon.
Yeah, because the whole town was basically compliant in the thing. It wasn't just the school, but it was the town itself.
Hence, okay, that's why it's called She Fought Alone. Get it?
Yep, ba-doom-doom. To kind of end it on a more positive note. Because of the way that it ended, and I know maybe it kind of reflects some cases where there really was nothing more than a slap on the wrist. So it was maybe trying to be accurate. Well, I don't know the whole story behind that, but I do know certain parts of it. But because of that, I have to give this one, and to me, it was one of the best ones that we've done. I'm going to say 4 out of 5. It could have been better, but I understand why they might have. But for me, I really wanted it to end on a more positive note. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But that's just my own personal opinion. So, what say you?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Mostly because everybody in the town was a dirtbag, except for Jace, because he was an awesome psychopathic dirtbag that I felt like was a perfect villain in this scenario.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he was a perfect villain in this scenario.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And again, it's just like and again with the whole justice thing, he didn't even get, all he got was a slap on the wrist, and sure, I mean, his high school football career is over, so he's probably going to be stuck in that one-horse town. Yes, that's exactly what I called it, because let's face it is a one-horse town.
Yeah, in the middle of Illinois, you know, nowheresville, so I understand that point, too. So, I mean, combined rating for this one, you know, I really did enjoy it. We both have some mixed feelings on it, and I can understand his point of view about how everybody was a complete dirtbag, so... You know, you figure at least a few people could have been more sympathetic towards her, so I understand that.
Her little sister was sympathetic towards her. Yeah,
so...
Let's face it, she was the only good character. Kind of like in Stephen King's Thinner.
Combined rating for this one, guys, because you know the drill by now if you watched our vids. 3 3/4 stars out of 5. You know, you can find it on a YouTube channel called Marcus Alexander. I suggest you watch it. It's pretty good. But of course, as always...
Before we get to that, guys, I know that this week we didn't upload a Walker video, And that is because they're taking a 2-week break to film more Walker episodes, as the CW ordered more episodes for season 1. So it went from the initial 13 episodes to 18 episodes. So they kind of got themselves into a pickle there when the CW ordered more episodes for the season. But then they're just like, all right, let's just take this 2-week break and let's just film episodes.
All right, so now you know the gist of that.
So there will be one. There will be one after March 11th, because it'll come back March 11th. So that Friday, be expecting a Walker review.
All right. Because, but of course, guys, because we always get this in here. If you think that She Fought Alone was, well, a horrible made-for-TV movie, well, you're wrong, because it's actually pretty good. But just remember, we're just two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, having said that, we'll see you guys this Thursday, where it'll be the next episode of Tom and Jerry Thursday.
Well, we're probably going to end it also there with the recent Tom and Jerry movie that just came out.
Yeah, but not for a while, guys. So, because I kind of like doing those.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a distraction, but it is what it is.
Maybe we can do Tom and Jerry and Robin Hood and his Merry Mouse.
Sounds okay by me, I guess. Okay. We'll throw that one out for you guys. It's probably going to be kind of dumb, but...
one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies for Scooby-Doo Saturday. Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders.
Alright, so yeah, be looking for that one. And then, of course, this Sunday or Monday, the next Lifetime, where, as we said, it will definitely be the No One Would Tell remake. And so with that out of the way, guys, peace and love from Denny and Son. Bye!